So we've killed our family.
That happened, yes.
I made my family decompose.
Well, no, you didn't kill them. You killed the thoughts about them involving what if they moved on and had a life without me.
And all we have
Which
left
is eventually
is this.
what happens. So it's there because it's an eventuality.
Yeah, that's the good ending comparatively. The other ending is, and then they spend the rest of their lives wallowing in sorrow, and that's not good. So we got some points that one time we delved down into the dungeon, but there are items for a lot of points. I don't know
Seems
how
like
many.
you should get that VIP pass.
Yeah, well, that. And the Eye of Newt, why not? Now we have very few points. I don't know if we're going to be able to get enough points in a reasonable amount of time to buy those things, but we'll see. I do know we got to keep an eye out for one. There's one thing I'm looking for while we're in here specifically, and that's the Holy Grail to finish my secret agility set. Oh, hey, it's Rubik. I don't remember the floors being this big.
Same.
So this is going to be a very long process, and I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of substance to talk about of, walking around a board and fighting remixed enemies. So I made a proposal that while we're doing this, to make it not so tedious, we could, at least for a little while, recap that show what we just watched.
But you forgot half of it.
But I forgot half of it.
Not half of it, but the definitely the back quarter of it.
Big chunks. Big chunks are missing.
Oh, wait, that's right. I'm in reverse. I was trying to mute that cough. Yeah, let me tweet this out.
Filling out the grindy part of Jimmy with talking about that anime, what everyone's probably sick of hearing about.
Yeah, you're a latecomer on this. Everyone already hates JoJo. No, that's not true. I think people are still excited about JoJo.
I watch a YouTube channel every week called Thought Slime, and one of the person, Mildred, the individual who makes it, one of his episodes, I forget what it was, something about drugs, and talking about like peer pressure and that thing in the 90s where all the drug dealers and PSAs were like really nice and give you the first hit. And the joke was like, I've never met drug dealers like this. I felt more peer pressure from people trying to get me to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure than drugs.
Yes. And this is absolutely true that peer pressure was not, in my experience, was not a thing when it came to drugs. Anime, however.
All of the nerds, you should just come watch it. Just watch it. I've had people try to get me to watch Gurren Lagann. Still haven't done it. Out of spite.
I watched Gurren Lagann, and there's things I really like about it and things I really hate about it.
I had people try to get me to watch Attack on Titan. Still haven't done it. Out of spite.
I watched the first season of that. It had its moments.
Full Metal Alchemist. Also, haven't watched it. Out of spite. Oh, hey, Haas. Thanks for that follow. But I did end up watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
And wait, what was different? Did I just say, oh, you'll enjoy it?
I think part of it was that, like, I know you better than I know most of the people, and you were willing to watch it with me, so it became like a communal activity thing.
Yeah, I'd rather watch it with somebody because that's really fun.
Because a lot of these out of spite is like, oh man, Attack on Titan's really, really good. You should go watch it. And now I absolve myself of this situation after, putting this homework on your plate. Like, nah, fuck you.
Right. Yeah, no, I will totally watch Jojo with people.
Like, if someone's...
Because it is genuinely fun.
Yeah, if someone's willing to put their time on the board as well, that is a rare and glowing endorsement in my opinion.
I have been coming back to JoJo every now and then, like, different parts of it every now and then, maybe like every year or so since I got into it, which was around the time they were animating Stardust Crusaders, the second time, not the OVA.
Everybody die. I just got in. What would you say? We started watching it like a couple months ago, maybe 4 months tops.
The whole thing, you mean? Like when you started watching it?
Yeah, like when I started Phantom Blood was maybe like 3-4 months ago at most.
I'm really bad at remembering what was happening back then.
It was a simpler time.
I know, but even months back is just like, what? Man, come on.
And starting there, like, one of the things that I had heard from people who told me to watch it was that you're gonna hate the first few seasons, but, push through.
Yeah, what a good endorsement for a thing.
Yeah, and honestly, Duckinator, this is actually this might be the last episode. All we have left to do is get to the bottom of this dungeon. We did the Heart Prison already, and we did everything else.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard that a handful of times, and then, honestly, the thing that tipped me over was Chip and Ironicus started doing their Dogs Must Die podcast.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of watching their Final Fantasy VII LP, and it kind of got cross-advertised at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm glad they did a podcast of that, because I would listen to... I was thinking, like, I listened to a DBZ podcast, and that was pretty good. But it was, like, people that I knew. It was Jeff Gerstmann, and a friend who had never seen DBZ before, which is really rare and weird. So it's cool to see that from an adult perspective.
I tried doing that with Dagron a little while back. You were there for part of it, and the shame was the game just did not fucking work.
Yeah.
But, if you missed the Heart Dungeon, it is the next episode. As of the time of this recording, it is the episode that I will be uploading tonight. So it'll be on YouTube later. And I think the VOD is already available on Twitch, but I don't know how Twitch does its shit. But yeah, I listened to the first episode of that podcast, and just hearing them describe the introduction to the show and like the first episode, I was like, this sounds awesome. This sounds nothing like what I've heard the show is about, and it's in retrospect not.
Right. I actually started with Stardust Crusaders, watched a bit of that, and then went back and watched Phantom Blood.
I think it was the part where Grant describes it as a community theater production of Oliver Twist that I was like, okay, I'm in. And
right.
I watched it, and that's exactly what it was. And I loved it.
Until the vampires come in.
Until the very end of episode 3, when it goes completely off the fucking walls.
And then that is the standard for the rest of the series, for the rest of the franchise.
And I actually have introduced it to a friend of mine who is one of the biggest weebs I'll ever meet. I've mentioned her. She's actually been, she and her husband sometimes hang out in chat on this stream. And I've mentioned before, they are very involved in running a big anime convention up here in the PNW. And she had never watched this particular show. But she does love this one HBO or Showtime or one of them type shows that's based off a book series about like a World War I nurse that goes back in time to medieval Scotland, and it's a big fantasy romance epic thing and very like Jane Austen-y. And I was like, oh, you'll like at least the first 3 episodes.
That's a weird flex.
Yeah, like, if nothing else, you will definitely love fucking, like, fancy rich boys fighting over the family estate. Like, that is right up your alley. Beyond that, it's up to taste. But if nothing else, you can watch those three and it'll be a good time. And we did, and she laughed her ass off. But yeah, everyone kept telling me, like, if you get through the first couple seasons, you'll really like what happens next. And honestly, the first 2 seasons were probably the best time I had with the show. Like, unqualified best time I had with the show.
Well, because there's a very community theater aspect of it.
There is. There's also... It's a lot simpler. Like, some of the really batshit things that happen in 3, and then especially in 5, are not a factor.
A factor in
the plotting of the show. Like, it's very simple. Like, Jonathan and Dio, they hate each other. Here's the fight. There's the conflict. Go. Joseph and the Pillar Men, he has to stop the Pillar Men. Hamon powers get fucking weird from here, but, it's very, like... In 3 and especially 5, there starts to be a lot more of the... And I'm not talking about, like, the 4D chess nature of the fights, but, like... There's that kind of sensibility brought to the plotting and the story, which starts to get a little hard to keep my hand around. Like for example, when they tried to bring in, like, the reason for why stands exist, the, like, meteor fell to Earth,
very unnecessary,
and the arrows, and here's what happens if an arrow pierces a stand. Here's what happens if it pierces a normal person. Here's what happens.
I didn't need any of that, really.
Like, yeah, now I'm just like, what is? I think I know what's going on. And then when we were watching,
I just don't care. Like, just give me more weird powers. It's simple. That's all you need to do, and, like, more interesting fights based on those weird powers. That's where your bread and butter is. That's when JoJo is the most fun, most successful. And that's why, like, a lot of things in Part 5 for me end up coming down to, like, my favorite moments of that, and not the overall thing of it, because the overall thing of it is very... I don't know I was gonna say dodgy,
Never seen a JoJo, but just feeling like try to explain the why of JoJo antithetical to the point of JoJo. Yeah, I mean...
Sometimes the why is very important.
Yes, but it's a very specific why.
Yeah, it's always, like, a very specific question that needs to be answered by somebody's power, by somebody's very specific power.
Yeah, but as opposed to what I think Shrike is talking about, like, I don't need the deep lore. I don't need to know, like the Pillar Men was borderline, like, too much, honestly, for me. Like, I don't need to know the history of why vampires and, the deep-seated vampire.
Right. They slipped that in there, but it's not one of the parts that I remember.
Yeah, it does get I think it got overshadowed. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but it happened by all of the fucking weirdness that surrounds those 3 guys, especially AC/DC.
Yeah.
So, like, they did try to, like, work that in, but then I immediately had veins wiggling in my face, so I forgot. Didn't care. But yeah, they definitely tried to revisit the whole, here's the why of it, and, the deep history of why stands are and what they do and their potential, and, like, I don't care.
I don't know how much more that's going to be a factor, to be honest.
I hope not.
I hope not. I hope it's less. I don't care if it's one of those things that I'll shelve in the back of my mind and will forget about and won't really care about it. But I don't think I would be mad at it for being there unless it was a big part of it.
Yeah, it ultimately didn't
Because it felt like an afterthought in part 5.
Yeah, it ultimately didn't come to the surface in a way that I was afraid of. Oh, something about like a fucking meteor crashed to Earth and unleashed a power, and the meteor got turned into the arrowhead. A virus, yeah. It's just like I mean, I've read the fucking Inhuman Kree shit from Marvel. It wasn't interesting then. It's not interesting now. Though this is probably predating the Marvel shit, actually, now that I think about it. I forget how goddamn old this stuff is.
Right. Remember that this is some old shit, and it's still going, because Araki is apparently a machine.
But yeah, like, everybody's got a special power. It does a specific thing. Whoop-de-doo.
Well, okay, yeah. That's a concept that predates JoJo. You know, that's not a unique thing. The idea of the stand, though, I think what it pioneered more than anything is how clever you are is how strong you are. Makes you exponentially stronger when you know how to use your power effectively.
Apparently the star is removed from the square after I get the points. But I can't go backwards. It's interesting, but I don't think it's going to affect too much of how I'm playing through. Yeah, and I think, and the most fun I had with it, aside from 4, which is the one case where having like a big elaborate thing worked for me.
Yeah.
Specifically because it was so small scale in comparison. But on the day-to-day, I was more into the interesting situations they could come up with mixing the stand's power and the person controlling it.
Right.
And the example that's freshest in my mind, mostly because I listened to the newest Dogs Must Die yesterday, and they just talked about this. It is the worst episode of part 3.
That's debatable, but it's definitely down there.
You have a character who has a power. His stand's power is he can reverse time on an object or a person. And functionally, he uses it to make you younger. And
he never uses it on an object, though, is the thing.
Yeah. They talk about all in the podcast. Like, I recommend listening to the podcast. They have like a lot of interesting thoughts. And like, they talk about how he could use this in all different, like, really cool ways to basically become unstoppable.
Right.
But the guy is just made of fucking insecurity and needs to make himself feel better by beating up children. So that's what he uses his power for.
That's what his power does. It turns people into children so he can beat on them and murder them. He is played across as creepy as you would expect.
Yeah, like all of the subtext you're afraid of, it's there. But
I did listen to that episode on the way home from work, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. And that's also, I remember warning you about that episode.
Yes.
I was like, please stick through this one because the next one is my favorite.
And the next one is fucking great, and I can't wait till
the next one is Darby the Gambler, which is like a real high point in JoJo. Just what if there were less? What if it were more about just gambling for an episode?
Yeah.
And Stan stuff was very much in the periphery because the only thing that you can really do with your stand is observe the cards really well.
Yeah, but functionally, you're watching an episode of, Rounders or Maverick, or pick a thing that's poker-oriented. I know that's not so much of a popular thing as it was when I was in high school, but... So yeah, they have these really great intersections of, powers that can make, for really tense and threatening, adversaries. And on the flip side, you can pair them up to just be fucking goofy as shit joke episodes. Like Oingo Boingo, for instance.
Oingo Boingo is a great episode.
Go ahead and give me the recap on Oingo Boingo, because you probably remember it better than I do.
Yeah, you got, I can't remember which one is which. You got the two brothers, Oingo and Boingo, and they each have a stand, and the younger brother is very shy and doesn't like to do anything without his big brother. And he's got a comic book that tells the immediate future and nothing else. And it writes itself as it goes. So he'll be reading the book, and all of a sudden pictures and like this comic will start forming, and it'll be a premonition of the future. And based on that, they will be able to defeat their opponent, or so you'd think. But the older brother, Oingo, is incredibly dumb, hair trigger violent, and his stand can do nothing but change his face. So the whole episode is that there is a stand fight that goes on with, an increasing series of wacky murder attempts using this comic book, and the older brother trying to kill Jotaro and the gang. And it eventually turns out to, what if I change my face into Jotaro so that I don't get caught breaking into their car and getting stuck in the car with Polnareff and old Joseph, and having to act like Jotaro, which is pure hell, apparently.
The man is a brick of he's a personality vacuum. He's got nothing.
So eventually he realizes, the premonition has Jotaro getting his head blown up by this bomb that I made. But I turned into Jotaro, so doesn't that mean I'm going to get blown up? Oh, I get blown up. Okay.
It turns into this sorry, go ahead.
Well, the whole episode, they never knew that they were being attacked by a stand user. It's the one episode where that the person doesn't announce themselves, tell what Egyptian god or tarot card they represent.
Oh, that's right. They never actually know. I forgot.
No, they never knew. The whole fight goes on without their knowledge.
But then, on the other hand, you've got, sometimes they really miss the mark, and I just kind of tune out. Hull Horse is the go-to. His stand is, he has a gun. It is a gun. It shoots bullets.
Bullets, cool. He has some effect over them. That's it. They have terrible range, too, for a gun. For a gun, it's got terrible range.
They get a little bit of mileage because the character is also just the most despicable, womanizing con man, and they get some jokes out of that at his expense, but it doesn't really go anywhere.
The jokes at his expense are the meat of it for me. Everything else about Hull Horse, his stand, his combat prowess is minimal.
And I think one of the other things that worked really well for me, and it was one of the few things I knew going in about the show, was that everything is named after Western music. There's just music, puns and homages and things. So it kept this really... it was really good at engaging an audience member in that spot, do the treasure hunt kind of thing. Kind of when we used to watch Trigun back in college, it would be find the black cat. It keeps you focused on a specific goal that is loosely related to the show, and it just kind of makes it feel like you're more engaged with the material. Which some people really hate. I happen to enjoy that kind of thing.
Wait, some people really hate
those kinds of audience engagement gimmicks.
Yeah, I think they're okay.
Yeah, it's the same kind of people who are I've known a lot of people who don't watch the Marvel movies because they don't like having to find all of the little press material for the next thing and the Easter eggs and whatnot. I think that kind of thing's fun, but I'm not here to tell anybody what to like. This is probably going to take a couple of turns so I can afford to get a healing.
Yeah, this is a fight you don't want to rush through.
Yeah.
There you go. Wow, you killed Concentric Burton.
Damn it. He was the most Burtons per square inch. Okay, so I got an item finally. I think this is the first one I've ever got. How do I use
Yeah,
those?
X.
Oh, so it said. I can't highlight it. Can I highlight it now? Ah.
Oh, so you can double it. Or roll another die.
Okay, I see. But yeah, I had been sold the show by a number of people on its batshit superpowers and cosmic anime fights, and then I turn on a show about two adopted brothers who are vying for daddy's attention in a Victorian manor house, and I was very confused.
And a man named Ario Speedwagon.
And a man named Ario Speedwagon. Yeah, that's when they like really punch you in the face with here's our naming gimmick. But it did a really good job of changing what it does from season to season.
Oh god, yeah. They're all like slightly connected stories, but part of a bigger universe, but go in a very wide variety of directions. Like, the next one's going to be completely different from all the ones before it.
Yeah, I don't need hyperactivity on you people. It's going to be a prison story from...
I guess so.
What I saw in the trailer.
Can you have stands in prison? Do you have stand prison?
Can they stop you from having stands in prison?
Can they stop you from leaving prison if you have a stand? My understanding is that they couldn't. Most people can escape from prison if they have a stand.
Most people.
That one guy in part 4 did.
I don't think Okuyasu would have been able to figure it out, even though he's got the easiest one to do it with.
He's got the one that you can just make a wall anywhere.
Oh, what's that?
I don't know.
Little rainbow bunny friend. Well, I'm not going to see him on this turn. Okay, now I guess I should start scouting ahead.
I think that's a fountain.
Oh. Get some warden stand, which nullifies, weakens. The stand is the prison. Yeah, no, I could say.
Maybe, yeah.
It's not entirely clear from the trailer whether the main character is the only one there with a stand or if it's a prison for stand users.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And I did not watch the trailer because I like to stay completely blind. And it'll be December soon anyway.
Oh, I did it backwards. Blue is physical, red is magical. Helga. Help. Helpga. Well, nothing's going to beat Jimmy, so. Yeah, the first story is very, very small scale, comparatively. Two brothers hate each other. One becomes a super vampire. Tale as old as time. And their conflict comes to a head. Second one gets, more world encompassing with some very silly Nazis.
And a lot of Nazis get killed by vampires. It's pretty cool.
A lot of Nazis get killed. And the one Nazi that they try to make you like, they even go out of their way to be like, and then he got fucking murdered in World War II because he's a Nazi and a piece of shit.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't try any harder than they were to rehabilitate him. It was like, no, they fucking killed him. The guy who dies like twice, and you think he's gone.
And he just keeps coming back with more and more like fucking Mega Man robot parts. Yeah. But one of the things they did in 2 that I really liked and kind of wanted to see more of as the show went on and didn't get as much as I would have liked, was the main character is not that good at what he does. like your typical shonen anime protagonist, by nature of the medium, kind of has to be the toughest, strongest guy in the room, and Joseph is not that.
No, he's not.
Joseph is more of like a Jewish folklore hero. One of your trickster characters who tweaks the noses and outsmarts all of the antagonists of his day, and he's just doing that on a cosmic level with magic, sunlight, breath, energy powers. I still don't quite understand what Hamon is, but
nobody knows what Hamon is.
It stopped being a thing almost immediately, so it doesn't matter.
I'm glad they moved on from Hamon.
I liked it as a function of his superpower is surviving vehicle crashes.
Yeah, surviving plane crashes.
Well, I liked how he used his like close-up magic stuff. His weird clacker balls and tying grenades to grenades to make combo grenades with sleight of hand tricks and things like that.
Well, that's not Hamon. That's just sleight of hand.
Yeah. Well, the clacker balls, he would infuse them with Hamon to turn them into weapons and shit like that.
Right. So they would hurt vampires.
But like the main skill being employed is all of his sleight of hand nonsense. It's just the Hamon needs to be there to make it work on vampires, like you said.
Joseph's thing is hey, I'm basically Jonathan, but I'm also Bugs Bunny.
I'm a cool Jonathan who fucks. Which brings up one of the other weird things about the show that never got satisfied. The show doesn't know what to do with women, and
no, it doesn't. It's really funny. Like nothing at all. Like he keeps trying.
I got a voodoo mask.
Yeah,
That's not the holy.
It's not the Holy Grail.
Battle tendency, yeah. Also, the names are just really great. Like the names for the episodes are really solid. No, I like I showed my partner the first pieces of the first season, basically just whenever Irina was on screen. And we have this running theory between the two of us. There's a very specific kind of misogyny that exists in gay men that kind of doesn't understand why women need to exist at all. And this came from watching Clive Barker, who is very good at that. And Jojo has a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, it kind of does.
To the point where definitely the first two, and I'm thinking of season 3, and basically season 3 as well, there is one female character whose primary job is to literally give birth to the following season. And yeah. I was hoping that they would fix that in 5, because they had a female character. She got her own stand. It had an interesting power, and she literally never got to use it after that.
It was always like a really quick thing whenever she uses it, and it's like, wait, no, you're not going to give her an episode. She had her episode already?
Yeah, her introductory episode was the entire episode. Or the entire use of her power.
Anytime you said, man, I want a Trish fight, after Trish had her fight, I was like, shit, should I say something? Nah. And,
this is pretty spoiler heavy already, but there's no reason to spoil this. Even when they do let her use her powers, there is a reason that it's technically not her doing it, and it just made me grind my fucking teeth. Just like, my God, what the fuck?
We have to remove all the women's agency.
Every single one.
Otherwise, the shonen anime cannot be the shonen anime. This is for 17-year-old boys that need role models.
17-year-old boys can have women that are role models. The gender does not...
It's not allowed. just not allowed. And yeah, we were talking about Bizarre Podcast a bit. Yeah, absolutely listen to that. Especially if you like are actually interested in the show, but know you have no stomach for anime bullshit, and you just want to hear people talk about that.
Yeah,
that are entertaining.
Yeah, they do like a very detailed like episode by episode breakdown that it's not a substitute for the show, but like you just said, if you know you're not gonna, if you don't have the temperament to sit and actually watch the show, it's good enough. Chest. Oh, mimic. But hopefully, hence my earlier post about how it's a solid idea to have an underpowered generalist hero as to come up with ways to win rather than Supermaning it all the way. Yeah, Joseph is that to a fucking T. You get to explore the villains of the week, arc, incorporate side story, flashback, training montage, and then come back for the big final twist. Yeah. No, Joseph gets to do that all the way. He's got people around him who can do like very specific things. And one of them is the closest thing the show gets to a decent female character for a very long time. But then she spends
best attempt.
Yeah, she does like 2 episodes worth of stuff, and then spends the rest of the time on the sidelines,
on the injury bench.
Yeah, Krillining, I think, is the term that Chip and Ironicus came up with. The whole job is just to stand there and describe what's happening in the fight for the benefit of the audience.
Well, that was entirely REO Speedwagon's job in part 1, and then it became Smokey's job in part 2, and then they stopped kind of doing that for a bit, and occasionally there would be a fight commentator.
When they did it via the narrator, it was fucking brilliant. They would have a disembodied narrator who would occasionally come in to do these kinds of things, and it would borderline between like comic book descriptions of just overblown silliness. Like, suddenly Joseph remembers that he can punch through the underground and bring water up through a stream in Captain America. Or it would tangent into fucking like just travel brochures.
Wait, when did they do that?
They did a lot of it in 1, like when they were talking about like every time they went to a new location, it would start with the narrator like giving you like a tourism guide.
They just shifted that to like usually the start or the end of an episode, introducing a new area.
And the narrator was just a really great constant companion throughout that show, and they kind of dropped him off eventually, and every time he came back I was very happy.
He's still there.
1, 2, 3. I need 4. Oh, I guess whatever that die is, I cannot do it after I've already...
I think loaded dice lets you pick a number.
Oh, really? Oh, well then I'm going to want to save that. That's... I can get by without a fountain for a while.
Or maybe it lets you roll 1 to 3. I don't know.
Either way, that's very handy. What floor are we on? I haven't been paying attention.
I haven't looked.
Not close. We are on floor not close. Floor 22. Oh, we're a lot farther than I thought. Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing bad.
So I'm hoping that, given the fact that the
next JoJo will be female.
Yeah, that like by nature of having a female protagonist, they'll have to actually like acknowledge that she exists and can do things.
I feel like it's a pretty safe bet because I've heard that Jolene is the best part of like part 6. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing though.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe it's like a better or worse thing.
I know nothing about Part 6. I know she is Jotaro's daughter, and it takes place in a prison. That's all I got. That, and she's got like a very, like, what she looks like. She's got this great, like, punk rock kind of attitude look about her, and it looks like it could be a lot of fun.
She's probably going to punch a lot of people.
She's probably going to punch a lot of people. She's probably going to punch a lot of people a lot. Which will be a nice change from her father, who punched a lot of people but somehow made it boring. I did not like Part 3 very much.
But Part 3 has so much in it besides Jotaro.
Sure. I liked pieces of Part 3. The cumulative whole didn't really do anything for me. The fact that Dio was back but felt like a completely different character made me wonder why we were bothering. It just kind of culminated in a fairly generic Dragon Ball Z fight that was a lot less fun for me than, some of the stuff that they had been doing along the way.
I still think Part 4 is my favorite.
4 is great. 4 was fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's really hard to... There were a few problems with it, but overall it was just really interesting.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick... it's kind of a hard toss between 2 and 4, but they're both really, really good. This guy is going to do nothing but fucking reflect. So let's just take a minute to get our stuff back up.
Yeah.
Four does a really great job, and this was something I was complaining about with, like, when I was watching it, and then I realized, like, no, I was actually wrong. In 4, it takes a very long time to become what it's eventually going to be.
Right.
It takes a long time for them to introduce not only the primary antagonist, but, like, what genre of story you're actually watching. And go ahead.
Yeah. No, I didn't have anything else.
It starts off like in a very small scale, which I appreciated, because I get burned out from fucking like epic space battles between gods and whatever. That kind of thing will turn me off very, very quickly. Because it just gets to a point where, like, it's too big. I can't.
Scale. You there's the thing to be said for having too much scale.
Yeah, like the stakes. The stakes are so high that it functionally doesn't matter.
Fucking high. Why does everything have to be all of existence?
Exactly. Like obvious.
Why can't it be over a lottery ticket I found?
Exactly. Yes. And 4 does a great job of bringing it back down to very small scale, low stakes, but still very highly dramatic situations. And it starts off as kind of almost a slice of life sitcom for a long time. And
I mean, with an action show.
With an action show, yeah, but it's still very light and not like it's funnier than most of the show. Like,
right.
Like the Italian fucking chef episode is one of the fucking greatest things I've ever seen.
Let's go eat some Italian food.
And it does that for more than half of the show almost. And then you meet the antagonist, and then you realize that it's turning into a very grisly serial killer murder mystery.
Yeah.
And at first, I was kind of annoyed that, like, well, why the fuck didn't we start here? What the hell was all that about? And then I watched Super Eye Patch Wolf's video on it. And he made the very good point that the reason it starts you off for so long is that the show wants you to feel like you're home.
Okay.
It wants you to get to know Mariah as a town. Mariah is or Moria, or for however the fuck you call it. Morio. Is the small town where this whole thing takes place. And it wants you to become comfortable with that, so that way when Kira, the villain, comes and starts fucking everything up, he's not just, antagonizing the people, he's wrecking a place that you've come to know as home. And thinking about it in that context, yeah, it would not have been nearly as effective as it was if I had just, started in on here's scenic small town somewhere and the killer is lurking the streets.
Yeah, you need a bunch of smaller stakes battles to kind of establish what is at stake.
We leveled up Goon. Okay. Do I
you don't need the fountain right now.
No, I really don't. I can't go into the menu or check my status mid-fight. Nope. Well, I got the fountain anyway.
There you go.
1/4 of the way there. And that only took 40 minutes.
Yeah, but what if these floors get bigger?
Then we're going to keep aiming for trapdoors. Honestly, trapdoors are
yeah, the quickest way to get through.
Yeah. I don't really need to level. I'm only 1/4 of the way through. I assume these are going to get tougher as things go on. But, so far, haven't really found much of a problem.
No.
The fact that Hitomi can kind of do this for free every turn really counts for a lot. One, two, three, four. I don't have a key. Oh, that's gonna... Oh, that would loop me all the way back around. Fuck that. Ow. And then Golden Wind happened.
I need a drink before I start talking about Golden Wind.
I'm gonna crack open this delicious rolling rock that has been sitting here this whole time and I forgot about. Hold on. Actually, I remember these fucking phantasm orbs being very dangerous, so I'm just going to kill them and move on. I do need to heal, but that'll come later. I was... 2,000 points almost. Yeah, that's a lot of points. Like the items are worth tens of thousands of points, and we don't have nearly that many, and they don't seem to be accumulating at a rate that makes it likely I will be able to get most of them. Also, the treasure chest seems to be mimics more than anything. Treasure chests seem to be mimics.
Okay.
I kind of
wish... anything from Mimic?
No, and I kind of wish you did. Because... mostly because I want my Holy Grail, but also... yeah, I was at a poker game the other night, which I won, and then immediately felt guilty for taking all my friends' money. But
How much
someone
did you win?
$150
Eh,
from 7 people.
whatever. It's not that bad.
150 total was, we all put in a certain amount, and then I didn't take $150 from each person. That would have been
That
would have been a lot.
Not.
But someone brought a case of Rolling Rock, and some of them got drunk, and then at the end of the night, nobody wanted to take the rest. So I have a lot of Rolling Rock in my fridge right now.
I never drank any of that.
It's green. It's in cans. It does not have a bottle cap. I did say Rolling Rock bottle cap at the table. No one knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, no one's gonna know that.
But if they had, I would have shit myself. There was one guy I was suspecting. There was one guy who was a big fucking nerd and was throwing out some weird references. I'm like, there's a chance he's going to get this. He did not. Oh, hello. Oh,
Yeah,
hi, friends.
Let's complicate things.
Right? Okay, well, we're just going to do this one at a time then. Fuck y'all.
But yeah, just crush him. I mean, with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got your establishing parts 1 and 2, your swerve on it part 3, and then small scale story part 4 about a small town in Japan. And then and then things get weird.
So, God, from the jump, right? So in between 4 and 5, there was a short Twilight Zone-esque Tales from the Crypt anthology kind of horror story series.
I don't know when that was written.
I don't know when it was written, but chronologically in the show, it's placed between parts 4 and 5. It establishes a bit of part 5, which is that one of your main characters is going to Italy. Personally, I really fucking liked, what was it called again? Thus Spoke Rohan or something like that?
Yeah, Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe.
It was really, really good. The main character is the author insert, eccentric manga artist. And they did some really good short stories. And what the fuck are you? Oh, he's impenetrable. Okay. I wanted more than just the 4 episodes, but so it goes.
Yeah, that's a thing you could keep doing for a while. Just his weird stories.
I really like anthology horror. It kind of reminded me of some of Junji Ito's short story work in a more, what's the word I'm looking for? More restrained version. But, point being, they established that, like, okay, characters are going to Italy, and the next part starts in Italy, so, okay, something's happening with our characters in Italy, and they're going to be, doing something of import. No, they aren't. The point is that we're in Italy now, but these characters and their purpose for being there will be never again brought up after the first, episode or 2. And I kept waiting for them to come back, and they never did.
Nope. It turns into mob story.
Turns into mob story, because where there are Italians, there is organized crime. That's how we do.
Yes. Araki loves Italy, and apparently loves organized crime. Loves Italy so much he had to write about not Italians, but organized crime.
The mafia specifically. A very interesting version of the mafia.
Well, what if the mob had stands?
I mean, yes, obviously that part, but what if the mob had stands and was also run by like Death Note enthusiasts who were very protective of their identities? That was a weird. I've never seen a mafia story. There is a lot of neat stuff in Italy, but I've never seen like an organized crime story matched with a I don't know, what do you call it?
Supernatural, psychic, something or other.
Well, specifically that like Death Note is really the only thing I can pull up. The cat and mouse of hiding your identity from your opponent kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was very heavily... What if the mob was run by actual literal Satan? I do have loaded dice, and I want to see what's... oh, no. Fuck. Well. Fuck that up. Oh, well. I hit the wrong button. There'll be more Rubik's to come. But yeah, that was such a heavy part of it. And they had just kind of done that exact same story in part 4.
Oh, yeah, with Kira trying to hide his identity, which was definitely way more effective. Because nothing about Trish ends up... Oh, shit. Don't die. Nothing about Trish ends up identifying the boss.
No.
Nothing about her stand ends up identifying the boss.
They hide the boss's identity for so long until the audience finally gets an episode, and then the boss just kind of walks up to everybody and goes, "Yo, motherfuckers, I'm here!" And
okay, to be fair, Doppio is way more interesting than the boss.
Sure. He got... Yes. And he kind of got sidelined also, like, almost immediately.
The boss's alter ego, Jekyll and Hyde thing, alter ego, was way more interesting than his actual Hyde awful devil form.
Yeah. But I'm trying to work backwards to how it starts. And I'm giving up on the light spoilers. I'm in heavy spoiler territory because there's no way to talk about this.
We're in heavy spoiler territory, yeah.
So Koichi
goes to Italy to investigate something because there's supposedly an arrow there. And he was right, there was.
And Jotaro tells him that he needs to find Dio's son or grandson?
Oh, yeah, no, he actually goes there to find Dio's grandson, who turns out to be Giovanna.
And the
new Jojo.
And the fact that he's Dio's grandson, right? Like, from
Jonathan's body.
But from Jonathan's body, right? So there's like this dual legacy thing he's carrying that you expect to become an issue or even be mentioned, and it is not, even once.
It's like he didn't know how to write Giorno.
Yeah. And so Giorno's power is he can... Like, the snarky attitude is Giorno's power is he can write the manga ahead of him.
Giorno's power is whatever the fuck he wants it to be. At a certain point.
On paper, his power is that he can turn living matter into inanimate objects, and he can turn inanimate objects into living matter, right?
No, he cannot do the reverse.
He cannot do the reverse.
He can turn inanimate objects into living things.
But he can't... Okay.
He gives life to things by turning inanimate objects into living things.
Okay.
Such as punching the ground and making a tree grow.
Mm-hmm. Or grabbing a rock and turning it into a fucking, rat and
snake.
Snake.
Snake
anything.
Prick. The thing is, it's just like he uses his power in such absurdly specific situations with weird nature knowledge that no one in their right mind would ever know, and also want to be in the mob at the same time.
I mean, I'll give him that. Everyone's got weird. I don't want to avoid a spike. No, it's fine. I mean, I'll give him the weird obscure
yes.
knowledge. Oh.
You avoided the spike. It's maybe for the best because you're taking more spike damage.
That's true. But like so early on they get to they fight a stand where their team is disappearing one by one and they don't know where people are. But he's got someone's shoe.
They're on a boat and their gang is like going down one by one and they're disappearing like inside the boat.
Yeah.
And they can't really tell what's happening.
But
so
Giorno
has a spare shoe from one of the guys because it got pulled off as he got pulled into the boat. So he turns it into a fly and the fly tries to rejoin with the person who was wearing it. So it turns into a tracking device.
Yeah.
Which is like, you still need to make that leap of logic.
And like, I can see where you get like, okay, I guess they would like to be reconnected with the thing, and I can see where you're coming from, but we're starting to border on fucking like
I can do whatever
territory.
I want with this. I turned my tooth into a jellyfish so I could drink the piss.
Yeah.
Because jellyfish are 99% piss.
Is literally a thing that happens at one point.
I didn't make that up.
There's a meme that Dog put out one day that I saw that encapsulated it pretty well. It was, I want to say it was Will Smith at the Oscars.
It was The Rock.
Was it The Rock at the Oscars?
I think it was The Rock.
And he was just sitting in the stands and someone had caught a picture of him with this completely baffled look on his face. And the subtitle was just like, Jojo fans, after the 75th time that they beat the bad guy by shoving a frog up their own ass or some bullshit. And 5 definitely got me into that territory more than once.
Yeah.
There is...
There are moments when his power is like, okay, I'm fine with that. But man, he just keeps doing new things with his power, and it's like, wait, you can do that? Fuck you. No, you can't. You can't do that.
But yeah, so we've got this is our protagonist, and an early scuffle gets him into the sights of the mafia, and he befriends the hitman who has come to kill him, who is a much better character in every fucking way. Is much more interesting. His name is Bucciarati, and he has a zippers. His power is zippers. He can put zippers on things.
You know what's fucking wild is that for like a lot of JoJo, the supporting cast is actually kind of stronger than the JoJo. Stronger
and more interesting. Like Old Man Joseph.
That's what I meant.
Part 3. Oh yeah, like.
I meant that they're more interesting, not necessarily stronger, because of course the main character has to be the strongest.
Yeah, pretty much across the board. And like we kind of mentioned that while we were watching it, the JoJo of any particular episode after part 2 is not really the main character anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, Bucciarati is kind of the actual protagonist of the show, and Giorno is just his super powered buddy that nobody likes.
Which good. I'm okay with that.
It's a decent structure.
Because they pretty much milked Bucciarati until he fucking died.
It just makes me wonder, would we have a better show if we just cut out the super powered buddy? Like, do we really need them? They seem to be there as a reason. They seem to be there as like an emergency get out of weird situation button.
Yeah.
And I think maybe, and this is me, obviously trying to retroactively describe, try to retroactively solve Araki's process, which is, not something that anyone can really do. I'm just, speculating idly here. But if it were, a lot of the things that annoy me about the show, I think could have been solved in the writing process if we didn't have the Giorno safety net to fall back on.
Right. There was one episode that was pretty good because Giorno gets taken down pretty quickly and Narantia has to save him. That was the Clash and Talking Heads episode.
Mm-hmm. That was a really great. So the Clash,
but he does get through it by using Giorno's power.
Sure, but the bulk of so the Clash and Talking Heads are two. Very good friends. Very, very good friends. They're the names of the stands. I forget what the people's names are. But
Squalo and Tizano.
Clash is a shark, and he can summon this shark at range into any amount of liquid. The shark will change size depending on what it's summoned into. So they can summon it into your glass of beer, and you'll have a little tiny shark swimming around in the beer. They can summon it into the river in Venice, because they're in Venice at the time, and you'll have a giant shark swimming through the river. He can summon it into your tear duct, and you'll have microscopic sharks swimming around in your tears. That's the limiting factor. Yeah. Talking Heads is a stand that attaches to your tongue and causes you to say the exact opposite of what you are intending to say. You don't realize that this is happening until you open your mouth and your brain goes, go left, and your mouth says, go right. And so
there were some extenuating circumstances to these, but generally it seemed to be the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously you end up wording things in different ways that don't work on a binary, and it has to flex around it. But the intent of the stand. And what I really liked about that one is, Narantia, one of the... I mean, they're all the same age, but Narantia is coded entirely from the start as, the youngest, the child of the group. It's all wordplay. It's all him figuring out what's going on and having to word his words, choose his words very carefully. And that was, fun and interesting to me.
I like how that episode ends or that 2-parter or 3-parter, I can't remember. Because Giorno immediately gets fucked up and dragged into the sewers by the Clash, which just renders him useless. And he leaves Narantia something to replace his tongue with, which requires Narantia to first cut out his tongue, which he has no problem doing because Narantia is crazy.
And this introduces another, this sets a precedent for another thing that Giorno can do. Literally any injury, he can heal it just by grabbing some dirt and turning it into, whatever you need.
Yeah, when Mista shoots himself, which happens
a lot, he just turns the bullets into organic matter, and he just turns the bullets into organs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I am... No. Oh, wrong item. Wrong button. Oh, okay. So once it gives me the option, I can't... Okay, fuck. All right. When you reach the door, it asks you if you want to use the key. I backed out so I could check the road ahead, and by backing out, I confirmed that I don't want to use the key, and it doesn't give me a second chance to do that. Noted for future reference. Yeah, so injuries are no longer an issue.
Which means the team can get way fucked up on injuries now.
And there was something like that in part 4.
Part 4 was just I can put together things that are broken.
Yeah,
which includes people.
I can fix. He just fixes. He can't fix the dead, and he can't fix himself. It has limiting factors.
Yeah, that stand is just way better. It's like 100 times better than Golden Wind.
Golden Wind has no limiting
sake.
factors.
For simplicity, I mean, in a writing sense, Golden Wind has no limits, is the problem.
Which will come back to mean they have to do some very interesting things later on in order to give things weight. But so your team your team of dudes is Giorno and Bucciarati, the real protagonist, and Bucciarati's crew. These three Abbacchio, Fugo, 4 Italian mafia misfits, who, and let me say this out loud so that you can correct if I'm editorializing in my own head here. As far as these guys know, Giorno has killed one of their associates. He didn't.
No, they don't know that.
They suspect that.
They don't know.
Leaky Eye Luca at the beginning?
I don't think that ever gets brought up.
I thought that's the reason that
Abbacchio knows, because Bucciarati knows, because Bucciarati's the one who interrogates him and then fights him, and it's like, and they fight to a standstill pretty much.
Yeah, that's why he gets sent out after Jojo initially. So they, okay, if not the entire team, then at least their boss, like at least Bucciarati, has reason to suspect this man has killed one of their associates. He's sent out after him. They fight, and then in the middle of the fight, they come across a drug deal. And Giorno states that he doesn't like drugs.
Yeah.
And then Bucciarati agrees.
He notices Bucciarati's aversion to the person's arm because he used his power to borrow somebody's body and noticed that it was all shot up with needle marks.
That's right.
And he noticed his aversion to that and was like, "Hey, you're a good person. I see you don't like drugs either." Which is Giorno's only fucking personality trait, is that he hates drugs.
Yeah, and that immediately is the cause of, okay, we are now going to take down the entire mafia.
Yeah,
we are going to rise the ranks.
Drugs. We are going to become capos or whatever, and have enough influence to eventually take down the boss, and we will be the drug lords, except maybe not, but we'll try it for a bit.
It's pronounced capo. It's the Italian word for head. Sorry.
Okay.
But yes, that all happens in the matter of about 5 minutes after meeting this guy.
Oh, like in real time or like screen time?
In screen time, it's only about
Screen time, it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah. But
yeah, right after meeting this guy and fighting him, he was like, I guess I can trust this guy. I'm going to trust everything to this guy. This dude I just met, this kid.
And I guess this also kind of falls under the whole, Yakuza thing of, organized criminals who just really are opposed to the idea of doing crimes for some reason. The Yakuza is in the video game series, not the actual.
Right.
So they are sent on a mission. Well, they're sent on a couple of missions to work their way up the ranks, but they very quickly are told that their main goal is they have to find the boss's daughter.
Yeah, they're to protect quote unquote the boss's daughter and deliver the boss's daughter to him so she can be safe and not dead.
And the boss, who is very secretive of his identity, no one knows who he really is, He only communicates with a very small circle of people, and even then it's through like double blind dead drops and shit.
It's established pretty early that anybody who tries to find out the boss's identity is just murdered.
Yeah, he's incredibly paranoid, incredibly secretive, and they are like their goal, Bucciarati, Giorno, and Crew's goal is to, replace him in the power structure to ultimately stop selling drugs. But they need to find him first, and so they figure this is going to be their way in. This is how they're going to locate the man.
To be fair, it ends up being that way, but it's purely coincidental.
It does, yeah. They go on a whirlwind tour around Italy. They finally meet the man in...
Punch the Bluefish.
Punch the Bluefish. Punch the Bluefish before I do anything. Sardinia? Is that where they finally meet?
Where?
They meet him.
What?
They meet him in an
boss?
they meet him in an island off the coast.
No, at the clock tower. I can't remember what town, what city it's in.
Yeah, it's. I can't remember either. I want to say Sardinia, but I'm not sure.
No, that's where the island where they have to go to find out his identity.
Oh, okay. And they do a thing that I really do like, despite the fact that the whole identity paranoia thing seems a bit silly, but whatever, it's the convention of the story we're going on. They show the stand only. You see the man behind it like in shadow and in silhouette, right?
Yeah,
but
you
they
see a lot of King Crimson before you see the boss.
Yeah, they let the stand be the primary focus, which lets you get, lets you drink in the fucking detail work in a way that some of the others did not throughout the show. The stands were always kind of like secondary sidekick. They didn't really get the spotlight as hard. So that was kind of
right.
Nice. And his power is that he can undo...
His power is, fuck you, I win.
Yeah, his power is he can undo time. And it also doesn't seem to have much in the way of limits or defining factors, because he can just kind of do whatever with it. He can...
Oh, you punched me? No, you did not punch me.
He just cuts out... He, edits out the part of time where the fist made contact with the face, and now... everything else around that still exists. So you wound up for the punch and you recoiled from the punch, but the part where the face got hit is just missing from the video now.
Scene missing.
And he can do it retroactively, and he can do it when he's not even aware.
He can do it after getting punched.
Yeah, so he doesn't even have to be aware of your intention. He can just be walking around one day, and if a bullet hits him in the back of the head out of nowhere, he can just stop and go nope, no bullets, bye.
That might actually... It would have to stop his brain immediately. You need, a shotgun.
Well, I mean, we're working with Jojo time, so fucking...
Nobody uses guns in Jojo except Alessi.
Also that. And Mista, but that's a little different.
That's different.
Mista doesn't use...
smart bullets.
So now you've set up your antagonist with a power that's
unbeatable.
He somehow has a more bullshit OP power than Giorno, and it's like, okay, this is where my alarm bells started ringing really hard between the two of them. It's like, I don't know if I'm gonna like when these two finally come together.
Right? It's like, how are you going to write this fight? Can you write this fight? I don't think you can, actually. I think you're going to write yourself into a wall, and not one you can zip through or Zahando through or any kind of power through.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. And they had an answer for it. It was not the answer I was expecting.
No, but it was bullshit.
I have a friend of mine who I have tried for many years to get to read H.P. Lovecraft. And he does not want to, and I now bring it up every now and then to pick on him for it, but his reasoning is that I can't stand another fucking paragraph of the indescribable thing that defied human comprehension because fuck you, you're a writer. You have to describe it. That's literally your only goddamn job. And that's what I was afraid this fight was going to turn into. It was just going to be like lots of flashing in colors and fucking Jojo and King Crimson doing superpower meta bullshit that the audience can't understand, and then the good guy wins. And that's almost what happens.
Almost.
That is almost what happened.
It's a little different. There was like an objective to it. But like, what do you do after you get the arrow and use it correctly and your powers change? What the fuck happens then? All of that is just like, I don't know. It just doesn't work.
So we have this arrow, right? It's been brought. This has already been well established at this point. We've kind of skipped over it as a given, but you have these magic arrows. You stab somebody with the magic arrow, or shoot it from a bow, because that's how arrows work. And it will either awaken their stand power if they have the potential for one, or it will kill them. That is it. A lot of people get their stands because there was one guy going around just seeing who he could find and shooting fucking people with arrows all the live long day.
And that's a plot point in part 4.
And that is a big plot point in part 4. And then in part 4, they also established that if someone who already has a stand gets shot with the arrow, then he can unlock deeper abilities. Sometimes kind of.
Sometimes kind of, because the arrow has a consciousness and chooses people.
Yeah.
In that one case, like the arrow sensed Kira was like losing his shit because he didn't have any move left to make. Mm-hmm. It was like, no, let's keep going. I got an idea. Let's do this.
The arrow is that fucker at the party who likes to start shit because he wants to see the drama. That's the arrow.
Yeah, the arrow just wants to see interesting shit happen. That's why it's pure chaos.
So what we end up getting at the end is they ask the question, what happens if we take the arrow and we stab a stand itself?
I still can't answer that question.
I can't either, because it seems to do different things. It seems to do there are 3 very disparate examples in about 4 episodes of what it does, and I don't know what the fuck to make of it. They bring back Polnareff, who was the not main character, but actual main character of part 3. It will be more than I can stand. His power was he had a little fencer buddy. It was fast. It was strong, but then he could take the armor off and he could be really fast. And he had a fencing sword and he could poke you with it. Just a very basic combat stand.
It was one of the earlier stands. Very simple.
Yeah, very middle of the road.
But not a whole lot of crazy shit.
He takes the arrow. He stabs Silver Chariot, the name of fencer stand, who then becomes a wandering cowboy monster who puts people to sleep with his just like passive aura. While they're asleep, they switch bodies, sometimes in pairs, like sometimes direct, I take your body, you take mine, Freaky Friday style, sometimes not, sometimes just at random, and is now on a wandering quest to just fuck everything up without any real like specific motivation. Also, if you try to fight him, he hijacks your stand and turns it against you. Like
that was the one cool thing about it.
It was cool, but like, so if you use the arrow to pierce a stand, it gets fucking ridiculous level powers and becomes a complete asshole for no reason. And my initial thought was,
apparently it gets some autonomy.
Yeah, that part was consistent. It does
a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. And so my first thought was, like, in the midst of all this process, the boss and King Crimson is kind of neutralized. He gets put into
he gets put into the own zone forever.
Yeah. Well, we're not there yet. He gets put into the body of one of the how do I phrase this?
Gang.
Into two of the gang, kind of. Because
he's Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, because he's got multiple personality disorder, each one of his personalities gets swapped into a different body.
He has two souls. You can just be born with an extra soul.
He's beyond two souls, in fact.
No, he's not. Nobody is that.
So at first you think like, oh, okay, he's been put into Bucciarati, who at this point is just completely fucking...
He was about to die.
Oh my god, I forgot the whole part where he died, but then is still a homunculus, and that never kind of really goes anywhere, does it?
It lets him hold on long enough. It's the only way you could write him fighting King Crimson and like still be part of the story, really. Yeah. Because he didn't want to write him out, and yet he had to write Fugo out for some reason.
Oh, okay, so Fugo, backtracking a little bit, Fugo is one of the team that gets one episode and then leaves because his power is a plague. Like a fucking just a
skin
murder
melting,
plague.
Like flesh-eating plague.
And that is obviously like not the kind of thing that you can have a protagonist do very often and make any goddamn sense. It'll run out of its usefulness like almost immediately. 1, 2, 3. I want number 4.
You got a bunch of loaded dice.
Oh my god, I hit the wrong button. Fuck. I was trying to hit the X and I hit Z instead. Oh well. Yeah, the body swapping is some dumb shit. So you think at first that the boss is locked into this fucking decaying, useless body. Like, okay, he's neutralized. And my brain is going, right, that's how they avoid having to fucking find a way to write a fight using his time stop power. Because he's bullshit. Araki also wrote Fugo as the traitor who betrays everyone, but he didn't really have the heart to make him do that. Oh, see, that would have been a better character to have that power. Sense,
but his character doesn't really line up with that.
Yeah, like that's a villain power. That's a power that you overcome once. That's not the kind of power you can just like frequently use.
Yeah, I really like Purple Haze in the one fight it shows up because it's used in a really clever way. That fight is kind of like, it's a little weird, but it's like you've got the enemy stand is man in the mirror who can drag you into an alternate mirror dimension where you can't use your stand. Like, it drags your soul, separates your soul from your stand. So your stand is still outside the mirror. You're trapped in the mirror with him and his stand. He can just beat on you all he wants.
No, you don't understand. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Yeah, and Giorno, in one of his smarter but crazier moments, infects himself with Purple Haze's virus and gets dragged into the mirror, allows himself to get trapped and dragged into the mirror, which infects the bad guy, and then that's how that fight goes down.
He slowly melts, but not slowly enough for his or too slowly for his liking. Oh, that all got fucked up. Anyway. But yeah, so the boss is seemingly neutralized. It's like, now we don't have to write around that. We have a different enemy. We have a different fucking antagonist for the big bad fight at the end. The new Silver Chariot Requiem, they call him. Stand using ward. That would be a good power for a warden stand, like Shrike was saying earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's literally an episode I don't remember. Like, I sat there and I watched it, and we were on stream together. When
I watched that episode, I was like, shit, I don't remember any of this. And I've seen this like twice.
I was sitting there as the credits were rolling, and you and I were, watching it at the same time. And as the credits were rolling, I said out loud, I don't fucking remember anything that happened in the last 22 minutes. What just happened? I listened to them talk and try to explain what was going on. Do you got anything on that? Because next thing I know, the big bad is no longer an issue.
It's the entire thing is like, oh, the boss is neutralized, right? Well, no, he's got two souls. He's actually in a different body. He's actually hiding in one of the bodies of the gang. and that was a thing. Meanwhile, they're trying to get to the arrow to, so someone can stab their stand with the arrow. And it's like these two things get played up. Narantia gets killed. That happens really quickly. In like a blink of an eye, Narantia is fucking dead.
Oh, but because Giorno's power is bullshit, and you can't have consequences with that kind of thing, they have to. Narantia and Giorno have swapped bodies. Giorno, but they keep their. You swap bodies, but your soul keeps the stand. So the body stand goes with you when you swap, right? So Narantia gets killed. Giorno in Narantia's body fixes the corpse, but the soul has left. It is now an empty vessel, and I can now just enter it.
Yes, that happened.
Giorno's power can do whatever the fuck he wants. Version number 612.
And Abakio isn't even there to say, God damn it, I hate you.
So Gary, sorry, I didn't want to gloss over that moment. Just.
So yeah, that all happens, and finally, Giorno gets a hold of the arrow. Oh, what is this?
A full restore or 10% more points. I'm pretty good, I think. I'll take the points.
Okay, cool. Right, the soul entering thing. Wait, was it?
Come again?
I don't know. The thing about like, oh, this body doesn't have a soul, so I can just go in there. I don't know who's doing that. That just happens. It happens so fast you don't even have time to think about it.
Oh, is that so? Yeah, I don't fucking know what's going on. Because by the end of this episode, Silver Chariot, who has been established to be like an elevated, like, here is a new echelon of creature, right? Like, we have surpassed what we previously thought the pinnacle of a living thing could be. Yeah. By the end of this episode, he's neutralized. It's no longer a problem. Everyone goes back to their body and everything's fine. And I don't fucking remember how we got from A to B. 20% of my points, I'll get either 3 keys or 5.
I take the keys.
Yeah, I like keys. Keys are good. And now the boss is back in his own body, and by the way, he's the villain again.
Yes. Hello. He's back.
We spent like 3 episodes looping this whole super god Silver Chariot. Yeah, it was weird.
The Eldritch stuff was like, you mean like when everyone starts hyper evolving and getting all Cronenberg shit?
Oh,
that was where I was. That was where I was like, wow, you'd think I'd remember this. This was really weird.
I literally did not remember that until you said the word Cronenberg just now. That's right. He was like trying to turn everybody into a mass of him or something.
Yeah, I don't know what happened at that point.
You can cut out the entire, like, mini arc around fucking Requiem and end up exactly in the same place. Just kill Narantia, and Polnareff's a turtle now. Don't ask questions.
I guess I can just live in the turtle now. Yeah,
I could just be a turtle. Fuck it. So then now we're back to fighting over who gets to poke themselves with the arrow and become a god.
Right, so Giorno pokes himself with the arrow.
Well, first the boss does.
Yeah, and then it, like, melts away, and it's not like, no, the arrow has not chosen you or some shit. I don't know.
So Polnareff pokes himself with the arrow, you get a super asshole god fucking body horror monster. The boss pokes himself with the arrow, and nothing happens.
And I made the joke at the time, it's like, no, you already have enough power, fuck you. You got enough bullshit. It's Giorno that needs the buff.
Giorno pokes himself with the arrow, and I'm still not entirely sure what the fuck Golden Requiem does, other than ends the season.
Ends the show. He says, no, I'm putting an end to it. It's done. It's over. My friend died and I'm sad. Stop telling me to write anime.
Yeah, it is worth pointing out that you did mention to me that while he was writing this, Araki suffered an actual, like, real life personal tragedy. And so
that may explain some of the story's stranger aspects.
Yeah, it's not necessarily fair to judge it based on, you know, his quality of work, because, you know, A, he was going through a lot, and B, he very literally may have just been like, okay, I have a contract I need to fulfill, I just need to wrap this the fuck up so I can go deal with my shit. That having been said, it is extremely fucking silly, though.
Yes, as part 5 is so goddamn silly. Well, I mean, Giorno pokes himself, and there's... He puts him into the own zone. He puts the boss into the own zone forever.
Yeah.
The own zone is where you die over and over again. And he is basically forcing him to live out a bunch of different realities and possibilities, but they're all horrifying, and they all involve you dying.
Yeah.
So the boss is now...
God. Oh, I got it anyway. Okay.
The boss is now stuck in... Oh, point jackpot.
I got all my points back.
The boss is now stuck in a series of unfortunate incidents.
Yeah, he gets... It is implied... I don't remember if directly stated, but definitely implied that this is going to be his, like, Tantalus-style eternal torment. He's never going to die. He's never going to escape. He's just going to live different versions of his failures and his death over and over and over again. Because now Golden Wind can just do that. He can create a demi-plane of your worst imaginings and lock you in it for eternity.
It really seems like Giorno would be the next villain.
Right.
After all that. It really seems like you could write a story where Giorno is the villain, and that would make sense.
And he does end up becoming the Capo di Tutti Capo. He ends up being in charge.
Yeah, at the very last scene, he's wearing different colors, same outfit, different colors.
It's all black to let you know that he's become very serious.
Everybody's kissing his hand.
Yeah, kissing the ring is a very, cinematic sign of respect amongst these kinds of characters.
Yeah, they just... I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot that Kira just gets hit by a car and that's it. God, this is so good. After all that.
But we're not done, because at this point I was just very like, okay, that was wacky. We had us a good time. There's one more episode left.
There's one more episode that's like... It tries to retcon, not retcon, but it tries to explain why certain characters died. Like, no, it was destined because you fucked around with this stand before everything happened.
I'm sorry, it's 2 episodes. There were 2. It's a 2-parter.
It was like an episode and a half.
Yeah.
Because the boss got put into the own zone, and that was half an episode.
And then
the other half was setting up the Rolling Stones episode.
You get oh, we're in a spot.
Yeah.
Jimmy's gonna go first, and we can't imagine, because that's how this world works.
I do like that. Yeah, it's a play on, your power is to edit out segments of time. I'm going to make you experience segments of time for all eternity, except they all suck.
Sure. Like, thematically and, as far as like a sense of, poetic justice, yes.
Yes, that works.
Golden Wind can just do that now?
Why he has those powers, it's something different entirely.
Like, this is what happens when you have unlimited power and no boundaries. Things stop to have meaning because whatever. I can just do whatever. It's corollary to, like, I have the same problem with, and JoJo's does this a lot. We're gonna kill off a character for the emotional impact and the gravitas, and then immediately bring them back. And if not immediately, then very, very quickly.
How many times did Mista get shot in the head?
Mista got shot. Mista, it didn't have the same weight because it became the running gag that every time Mista uses his gun, he shoots himself in the head. It wasn't played for the emotional weight of it. But Avdol in part 3, they did it to Narancia a couple times before he actually dies. Which is why, when he was in the Shrinking.
Oh.
The Shrinky Dink episode? I forget the name of the stand.
Tiny Feet.
And this is why when they did it to Shigechi in part 4, I was like, okay, he's going to come back. Oh, no, he's not.
He's not going to come back.
He's not coming back.
Dead.
They just murdered a fucking child.
He extremely got blown the fuck up. Which is, like, probably one of the best, like, he's a really great character. I really like him, but his death is also really great.
Looks like we want to go down. There's a bunch of cool stuff down.
We have made it halfway. All right, we need to stretch out the last 2 episodes of Golden Wind for another hour and a half. I'm taking a brief break. I will be back.
And I've only had to use 2 ants on a log at this point, so I'm pretty good. Pretty good inventory-wise. There's a trick to this character, and I don't remember how it works. Or to this enemy. Oh, okay. That works. It ends the fight. That's all I needed. Yeah, Shigechi is, man, I wasn't sure how to feel about that kid. 4, 5, 6. Okay. Shigechi is a character in part 4. He's introduced fairly late into the story and then is killed off pretty quickly after that. He is a child. They're all kids. They're all supposed to be like 15, but they're all drawn differently and characterized differently that it's a little hard to tell sometimes. But he is the one that is like definitely characterized as a child, maybe with a developmental disorder, certainly not socially savvy. And he has a stand that is, it's a gatherer. It's a gathering stand. It is hundreds of little dudes who will run around town and just pick stuff up and bring it back. So he can tell them, I want all the grapes. And each one of them will run out, grab a grape, come back, and he'll have hundreds of grapes. He uses this to get people's pocket change. He gets really weird about money. Like, he wants to be your friend. Shigechi's a middle schooler. The others are all 15, 16. Except Koichi seems to be characterized closer to 12, and Shigechi seems to be characterized closer to, like, almost as young as, like, 7 or 8. Okuyasu and Josuke could easily be college-aged. Like, they get weird sometimes. There we go. Yeah, and he's got fleshy head spikes for no discernible reason. And, Like, he is genuinely a sad and lonely kid who wants friends, and he wants them to be his friend. But then the second money gets involved, he turns into a douchebag. They come up with a scheme to win the lottery. They being Josuke and Okuyasu, his friend, and and Shigechi. They come up with a scheme where Shigechi is going to go grab all like the spent lottery tickets to try to find winners. And they're all, like, buddy, we're going in on the scheme. And the second it pays off, Shigechi starts coming up with like, well, this is really all my money. And like immediately starts like pushing them away, but still genuinely wants to be their friends. But when the money gets involved, he gets weird about it. And it's this very, like, I was never quite sure how to feel, because you want this kid to learn a lesson the whole time. And he kind of almost does, and then he gets blown the fuck up. Like, literally exploded by a bomb. And then, then that's done. He was a fun character. Wasn't quite sure what to deal with that. Keep landing on spikes. And yeah, they were kind of exploiting his power, but they weren't manipulating him. They weren't, playing with his emotions. They were very direct, like, hey, you have this power, we have a plan, we can all make money and get rich. Like, they were very direct with him. Like, Shigechi's main foil was that he wanted friends, and the way to exploit him in that nature would have been to pretend to be his friend to serve your own purposes. I never got the intention that was the case. Like, they all seemed to get along very well until Shigechi started getting weird about money. He does the heroic sacrifice. Yeah, every series has one moment where someone has to die in order to, propel the Jojo forward. The Zeppelis do it in 1 and 2. It happens like 3 times back to back to back in fucking 3, to the point where it got a little silly. Okay, so my biggest threat I'm finding so far is the spikes, not the actual combat. Yeah, my one, like, if I had a complaint with 4, it would be they introduced some characters that had really good potential that just got underutilized. The Italian chef is the hill I will die on that regard. There is an entire episode that is just Josuke and Okuyasu go to dinner. It doesn't really tie into anything else. They go to dinner at this Italian restaurant, and every dish makes, like, Okuyasu eats everything right away, and every dish turns him into a body horror nightmare for a few seconds, but then afterwards he feels fine and better than he was, like, better than he started even. And the whole episode is Josuke being paranoid about what's going on in the back room of this restaurant, and it's just a guy who makes really good food that fixes whatever's wrong with you. That's his stand. It also just kind of goes a little Cronenberg-y while it does it. But, that's temporary. And Joseph, they bring Joseph back for part 4 for no goddamn reason. There's an introductory character that you think is going to be the big bad for a long time. When Part 4 came out, everyone wanted to see Let's Go Eat Italian Food the most. Yeah, I didn't even know I didn't know anything reputation-wise going into it. I just started that one episode like, oh my god, that was great. I hope we get much more of that character. He literally never comes up again. I think he might have a cameo appearance in the finale, but that's it. Yeah, there is a big showdown fight with who you think is going to be the big bad for the first half of the season. Evil electric guitar rocker named Chili Pepper. Obviously named for the set of the Smashing Pumpkins. And they had to call Joseph in specifically to try to find out who he was, because that's Joseph's power. He can see shit. He basically punches a camera and it takes a picture of, something off in the distance or, in the future, something fated that's connected to them, or he can do it to a television and it will, show a video of it, that kind of thing. He always needs like that kind of catalyst for it. But so they're like, okay, we're going to get him here. He's going to help us identify the power. But then he's on the boat on the way and they fight the guy and they kill him before he even gets to the shore. And now he's just kind of there.
Now you have to deal with your son that you made by accident. Whoops.
Yeah. And they give him a baby. And there's like one episode around him spending way too much money on an invisible baby.
Yeah.
Which is fun because it kind of plays into the running gag of, they're always broke. But functionally, he could have never shown up and nothing would have changed.
Are we recapping part 4 now?
You went for a break and I started talking about Shigechi, and then it brought me on to like my big problem with 4 is they had characters that didn't really get used to their full potential.
Fleshed out as much. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Joseph, like Italian Chef Man. Slimy car salesman dude, they did a little bit with, but they still had room for a lot more.
Tamami.
Was that his name? The lock. The guilt lock.
Yeah, the lock. The guilt guy. The con artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a little bit because he would show up at times. Like he showed up when Rohan and Josuke are playing dice. He shows up to make sure that nobody is cheating.
I just gotta let this guy run away.
Yeah, you gotta steal from this guy.
Yeah, but I don't have
Right, you can't do that.
I don't have a steal available, so I just gotta let him do that. Invisible Baby. Yeah, Invisible Baby doesn't do nothing, but yeah, whatever. I don't care about Invisible Baby. Fuck Invisible Baby. I was never interested in Invisible Baby. Golden Gloves? Oh, I can't put those on until I leave the dungeon.
Yep.
Balls.
Your stream is, I'm having trouble viewing it. I can see the side stream fine.
Is the... Oh, Twitch?
How are your numbers?
Having some... It's getting a little fuzzy on the bitrate, but...
I keep getting error 3000.
Oh, no, it's not going out. I just have it... Sometimes I'm looking at it right now, and it's a little...
Maybe it's on me.
Maybe. Yeah, it looks fine. Anybody in chat, if you see an issue, let me know. Looks good on my end, though. Twitch is having a moment. Yeah. Yeah, fuck the baby. I don't give a shit about the baby. Baby stands are weird.
Baby will probably come back at some point.
Great. There have been 3 baby stands.
2.
Death 13, Invisible Baby, and the one that you hate.
What? Oh, I don't know if that one counts.
Does that count as a baby stand? Kind of.
No, because it has a user who is an adult.
Oh, okay.
And a computer programmer. And actually, yeah, let's completely skip that guy. Fuck that guy.
I mean, Death 13 was fine, I guess. The Freddy Krueger thing was kind of interesting, but...
yeah. Death 13 is not my favorite.
An Invisible Baby, I don't honestly even remember... What is this? Rubik? What's going on? But in return, I want all of your dungeon items. I mean, I don't have that much. How many points? Fuck a doodle do. That's a lot of points there, Jim.
Why do I feel like we're about to die?
I don't know. This fountain says otherwise. We're almost 2/3 of the way through the dungeon.
But yeah, as far as like establishing rules and mostly following them, except unless if there are like usually clever ways to get around them, I feel like part 4 was the most, clever of the parts.
Mm-hmm.
After stands were introduced, because then otherwise it would be Joseph.
And they had a problem that couldn't be solved through brute force. Like, there was no way to just punch the idea, like, who is Kira? The problem is, who is Kira? And even after they find out who Kira is, the problem becomes a different version of who is Kira. And you can't punch that problem hard and solve it. The closest thing they do to that is having, like, fucking creepy, goddamn surveillance son. But
yeah,
even that's done.
I mean, good thing he was doing that.
Yeah, it ended up having an important use.
He ended up being the good guy.
Somehow.
That kid has problems, but he's the good guy.
And he was also season 4's version of, why am I looking at this? Why am I watching Naked Child for as long as I am?
Why is there baby dick? There does not need to be baby dick.
Why is there baby dick? And like, I had just recently started rewatching Dragon Ball not that long ago. Am I missing something that was happening in the 80s?
No, only one thing happened in the 80s, and that was Dragon Ball.
Well, I was thinking more like anime's fixation with baby dick.
Different culture.
I guess. Something.
I don't get it. It's completely lost on me.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Like, the entire scene, and it's really weird in this case because in the strength fight in part 3, it's completely fucking gratuitous. There's no reason, right?
Yeah.
In the set fight, the one we were talking about earlier, the Alessi fight, yeah, the guy who just turns people into children so he can feel like a big man and punch them. Like, the character is an adult turned into a child, and they play it for, like, really cheap, like, sex and toilet humor, which is dumb.
It's dumb, and it, like, would almost get there if not for, like, the weird sexual overtones.
Yeah. But, like, that's I've seen similar shit in, like, you know, American Pie or, you know, whatever other dumb, like, oh no, my dick is suddenly small, jokes. Like, okay, it's not my thing, but like I see where it's coming from.
There's apparently a market for that.
I guess, yeah. In 4, it's a very plot crucial scene.
Yeah, it's like terrifying too.
The kid basically suspects that his dad isn't his dad anymore, which is something that I've seen done in other like go watch a Swedish film called Goodnight Mommy. It's fucking terrifying, and it basically is that the feeling that like our mom isn't our mom, and we don't know if we're safe anymore. And he finally has not only does he have the confrontation with his dad where all of this comes to a head, but then he dies. And the villain has a breakdown, and this introduces his next like tier of powers, which introduces a whole different fucking framework for how the series is going to have to go from now on. It changes everything. It's an incredibly like pivotal and amazing scene that these two are having in the bathtub for some reason.
It's amazingly uncomfortable.
Why is this
so fucking uncomfortable? And it's just like you can't really deal with it at face value. You have to like joke about it.
You two could very, very easily be wearing pants right now. Why are you not?
Everyone could be wearing pants right now. You all could be wearing pants right now. Dream of a future in which people wear pants instead of discussing whether or not my dad is a fucking lizard person, body snatcher, with my dick out.
And it doesn't stop. It's not like a quick thing. It takes like 15 minutes. It just keeps going.
It's like a slow plotting scene. It's played like it's a horror movie.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly tense. It's very well done, except for that one thing. I was so confused. I don't even think it's family bathing. Like, if I remember, isn't the kid having a bath and then the dad comes in and is just like, hey, I need to talk to you, and then starts taking his clothes off or some shit.
Yeah. No, but that's what he's getting at, and that's, I think, what they're getting at.
I guess maybe.
To.
I mean, I didn't, because there's such an age gap between me and my siblings, but like, I knew people who grew up in, you know, poor family situations like myself who would bathe with their siblings of similar age to, you know, save water.
Right.
But like, it was still kept to a very like very young and very like close in age. Like, after a certain point, like, okay, take separate baths now. You're 9. But like, so culturally, I don't really have anything other than that to, you know, relate to. But even so,
amazingly uncomfortable.
Amazingly uncomfortable. Even taking that as the case, they still made an active decision to draw 15 minutes worth of baby dicks.
Yes.
And put them in the camera.
That was made. Put it to the canvas. Animate that shit. Well, don't animate it. It's like it's just stills. But you know.
No, I mean it's not like highly detailed or anything. It's the Dragon Ball thing. It's like a curve. Yeah. It's like a semi-oval, but it's still.
It's a single line. It's a single curve.
But it's still weird.
I do like that scene.
It's a great scene.
It's just, I like that scene because like few things make me that uncomfortable.
I mean, there is something to be said, like maybe that's why Araki did it, to add to the discomfort of the general situation. but still, the fact that it's a child kind of makes it weird. Like, makes it hard to defend that position.
Doesn't help.
Yeah. Because, like, I've seen scenes, I've acted in scenes where, like, okay, the scene is written to, like, have two people having, you know, a very difficult and uncomfortable conversation. Adults, consenting adult actors who have, you know, been informed of what, you know, what they're doing.
Right.
And to highlight, you know, the exposure and the discomfort of the scene, you're both going to be fully nude on stage while it's happening. Like, great. No, I get it. Cool. We're both in our 30s. Everyone could be wearing pants, but unfortunately Kira is a fucking sociopath.
I think a big part of why Part 4 works is because the villain is really interesting.
He is. He really, really is.
And to make David Bowie really worked.
He's a serial killer who has an ethos that I actually believe.
Oh, like, yeah.
I actually believe him when he says he just wants to live a quiet life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He is just doing his thing. His thing happens to be murdering women and you know, taking a certain part of their bodies, their hands, because he's way about hands. He loves hands.
But I genuinely do believe that if he found the right girl and severed her hand, he would just want to live, like, go work his day job, come home, cook dinner, be with his girl hand friend. Like,
yeah, that's a big theme in that part, in Part 4, because because Jotaro repeats a lot, like, hey, people don't really get to choose what circumstances they're born into. Kira has this. He can't control this.
But yeah, that makes him that much fucking scarier to me.
Yeah, and him having, you know, there is a hand, a severed hand in, like, the first shot in Part 4, but of course Kira doesn't come up. Kira shows up, like, now and again, like, he'll be walking in the background of, like, a shot after a scene has ended. Just to like, see them. Yeah, just to so the second watch people can be like, oh, okay, so he's been here the whole time.
Yeah, but, like, leading up to it, there's no heart-shaped headphones. Okay. Yeah, but there's no real, like, initial tell. And they do the same trick that Knives Out pulled a couple of years ago, where they give you a whodunit and they lead with telling you, the audience, whodunit.
Right.
And then you still have to, like, solve the whodunit regardless. They do it in very different ways. Knives Out is fucking brilliant about how it handles that. But, and I can't wait for Part 2. Do I have... No. Well, I got a couple of mulligans I could use if I don't land on 2.
Might as well take the roll.
No. I mean, 5 points. I was kind of like... I was trying to get that chest, but it didn't seem like there was really much to be done to bump my odds. Hello, friends. I'm Bullwinkle the Dragon Moose.
I should not exist.
Please kill me. End the violation of nature that is my existence.
Oh yeah, Akira does say like you can't stop your fingernails from growing at some point, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was the thing that was like, apparently his fingernails would grow really fast when he could no longer stop the urge to kill.
3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Well, down we go. And like once again, they did a really good job of giving him a very simple, very functional ability.
Oh yeah, his power is great. Killer Queen is awesome.
His power is he touches things and turns them into bombs. That's it. They explode, and then he can make the evidence disappear.
Yeah.
It gets a little more... he gets other powers as time goes on. But functionally, that's what he do. It's perfect for a serial killer. I can kill at a distance and then erase my tracks.
Yeah.
Don't have to go to like weird cosmic levels to try to figure out how to deal with that.
Floor 68. We're getting there.
We're getting there. Honestly, moving along a lot faster than I had anticipated.
Oh, thank God. I thought this was going to be a lot slower.
Me too. I honestly thought this was going to end with us getting to 50 and being like, well, it's already been 6 hours. I guess we should call it quits.
If it took like 3 hours to get to floor 50, I'd be like, oh, shit.
At this point, there's really nothing meaningful to engage with on the way to floor 100 for me. Like,
not really. As long as like as much skipping as we can do is like encouraged, but we don't have too much control over that.
Yeah, like aim for trapdoors. I'm aiming for chests just because I want to complete my set, but honestly, I don't even care that much if I do.
Right.
But yeah, like I'm not gaining like. I mean, I'm getting experience. I'm leveling up from time to time, but it's not like a meaningful thing at this point.
Right.
I'm not really having to think about fighting the monsters because I have this. Like, my biggest threat is stepping on spikes and then going into a battle with 1 health.
Now I'm starting to think of, like, what did I do wrong in the family fight that I had to grind to 100?
I don't know. I haven't gone back and watched your stream.
I wouldn't expect you to, but
I'm
just, like, thinking out loud.
Well, no, I'm kind of curious, though. Because that was tough, but it was a very, like, doable level of tough. Like, they had me on the ropes a little bit until I took out Andrew, but once that happened, it was kind of the tipping point.
So I guess a double dice are for when you want to get through a chain of a million fights.
I think you can choose to add it on after the first one as well, so you can functionally use it as a mulligan. All you can do is maybe try to choose paths for keys and maybe Rubik maximize your points. Yeah. Kind of like the guy. I have not watched Hunter x Hunter. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know it's an anime.
That's another long-running anime.
I have a hard time with the long-running stuff.
I don't watch a lot of them.
Like, I'm not going to watch Bleach. I'm not going to watch Naruto. I'm sorry. I don't have the give a fuck for anything that's that, many hundreds of episodes. Jojo was an exception. Like I said, because you were, because it was kind of a, a social thing. I like short form. Short form works good for me. your 13 and 26 episode jobs. Not just in anime, like just kind of in general.
Yeah.
Like the way Marvel is doing their Disney Plus series is really great for me. It's 6 episodes, 1 a week. Boom. 6 to 10, depending on the show, but very small amounts.
Watch, there's going to be 12 fights after this. I don't know. Oh, it's a pretty good path.
Yeah, I should start panning ahead more. And you really don't know. Honestly, I would have skipped season 3 had I would have definitely skipped the back half, the second season 3, as it were.
Really? I thought that was way better than the first.
I don't remember too many of the stands. I remember Iggy and the fuck you bird.
Iggy, Geb, the water stand.
I don't remember
that
Geb.
was a particularly good fight because it was something you just couldn't punch. It was the one where Jojo throws Iggy.
Oh yeah. Okay, now
where they're in the desert and they're gliding through the air because he hunts by sound.
Honestly, what I would have wanted, like, I don't care. I ended up not giving a fuck about, like, the big plot in 3. So what would have probably been best is, like, a curated list of, here's the good Monster of the Week fights. Just watch these.
Right.
But I really liked 1, I really liked 2, and I really liked 4. I might have skipped 5, honestly.
You can probably skip 5. I don't know, but then you would have missed out on... I'm thinking. Uh-oh. Missed shooting himself a million times.
Sure. I would have missed out on...
He would have missed out on Zipper Man.
I would have missed out on Zipper Man. I would have missed out on the Clash and Talking Heads being best friends.
Yes.
Roommates.
Well, your cannon's dead.
Yeah. So
might have to use your other cannon.
Yep. Oh no, I gotta go to default backup cannon. Yeah, those two have very just gals being pals energy, but are, dudes. Oh, right. Whoops. But yeah, six sounds like it has some potential. Apparently part 8 or 9 just wrapped up in the manga.
8 just finished in the manga.
So I don't even know where, because I don't know what the fucking I have not been able to accurately predict from one season to the next what the show was going to become. So
yeah. So at this point, you're just along for the ride.
Yeah. If I were to try to guess, and if I were to try to make any meaningful guess about even what part 6 is, let alone 7 and 8, I would just be fucking.
You would be disappointed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would just be a waste of time. I can try and guess just to know that it will be wrong.
No, there's another trapdoor.
Yeah, there's a lot of trapdoors up the middle. Bar.
One thing that I think has gotten progressively better in the anime, and it's one reason I don't even watch. I don't read the manga because A, I don't read manga. B, because the production value is just really good.
Yeah, it has definitely been a drastic improvement.
The music has gotten so good every season.
Except for that one credits music that was very confusing.
That one was fine.
The first half of part 5, the credits music is a song called Freakin' You. And, like, one, it's not roundabout, and I'm never going to stop being mad about that. But two, they would end on these big dramatic cliffhangers, and then the credits would immediately kick in with this very horny slow jam kind of thing, and I just kind of got like tonal whiplash every time.
It's fine. It works.
The song would literally tell you how horny it was every single time. Well, I need to heal, don't I? Ooh.
Yeah, I have no idea what the boss situation is going to be like. If you're just going to fall down to floor 100 and, you know, immediately run into a boss fight, or if you're going to get a chance to heal.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't have a turn 1 wipe. Or maybe it'll be great if it does. Maybe if we go through all this effort, we're 3/4 of the way there. We get all the way down and then just like, nah, fuck you, wipe.
I don't know if there's a gimmick to it.
I don't know what... See, I don't know what class I'm going to be. That's what's got me kind of confused. Although with the perpetual motion device, I can pretty much just go face with Jimmy every turn, and it doesn't matter too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's go to the right. One, 2, 3, 4. Key. But yeah, now I'm starting to get like... let's go ahead and use that mulligan because they're not as useful. But it's also kind of interesting to watch how the production design changes from season to season, because you get a bit of a... You get like a cross-section of like the evolution of the artistic styles and especially the music stylings of the era.
Yeah. You're jumping around years at a time.
Give me a 2. Yes.
No.
No, I love pitfall traps. There's no fall damage in this game. Give me more. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. That's some good stuff.
1, 2, 3, 4.
2
or 4.
Or 3. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, or 5. 3 works. Oh, but you gotta go the right way, dumbass.
What? Why did you... You misplayed.
I misplayed.
You misplayed on the board game.
I mean, I did the speedrun route.
Fine.
That key was only going to slow me down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a 4.
4. 3. Wait, there's no point in using that, though.
Well, if I got a 3, I would have landed on the trapdoor. Never mind.
Right, but you would have had a chance to roll again anyway.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
If you don't go past it, there's no sense in using an item.
My Dark Dungeon play is suboptimal.
Yes.
I'll be kicked out of the Evo League for this.
That's not what Evo does.
I don't know what Evo does.
It's fighting game.
Oh, okay. I mean...
Fight or fight.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go right. Seems to be the path of... Can I... There. This could be considered a fighting game. It's a battle of wits.
I don't think that would fly.
I would be kicked out of Evo for attempting to bring Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass in the first place.
That said, where is Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass, the fighting game?
Yeah.
You could have the family. You could have a bunch of bosses.
Casey, if you're listening to this, put Bug Nightmare on the shelf.
Thing aside, yeah. Just ignore that for a while.
We need you to create, an in-house engine.
With rollback netcode.
With rollback netcode. I know what that means.
Don't ask me to explain it.
I don't know what it means. I just know fighting game people get really into it. And, a robust combo system with juggling and tag teams.
As this team aspect, that's infinitely more complex.
The best fighting game ever was Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, but I grew up with a lot of guys who really agreed with that statement. And then hated 3 when it finally came out. I don't know why. No, my mouth.
Well, now you're infested.
Give me back my mouth. Get talking heads out of my mouth.
It's there. You can't do anything about it.
Semi-related, I was cooking the other day, and I just kind of let YouTube run on the... I just put YouTube music on and let it run, and it just kind of plays music videos in the background while I was cooking. Mm-hmm. And at one point, a Talking Heads music video came on.
Which one?
I think it was... It wasn't Psycho Killer. I listened to a bunch of Talking Heads came on in a row, so I don't remember which song this was specifically. But
we'll describe the video. I might know.
The video is David Byrne in a blue suit and glasses, kind of dancing around
in a white void.
Yes. Correct. Indeed.
Was he floating around in the pool at some point?
I think so, yeah. That sounds familiar.
That's once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime? Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the most famous one because that's where, yeah, probably.
It occurred to me, I don't think I'd ever seen what David Byrne looked like before.
Really?
Yeah. I might have.
Where's the big suit? You should watch the interview where he interviews himself.
That sounds like something he would do.
Yeah, he dressed up in a bunch of different outfits and interviewed himself with a split screen down the center of the frame.
I didn't expect him to look so much like Buddy Holly.
Oh yeah, I guess he does. The young him, at least, with the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really look like that anymore.
Monster. Rollback basically predicts what you're going to do first, and then if it's wrong, it shuffles things around, so you did do that.
That sounds like King Crimson.
Rollback is King Crimson. Yeah, because, like, one of the things that makes me not good at fighting games is they're so frame perfect. And I guess, yeah, I never really thought about it, but lag will fuck that up, like, just from the ground up, huh?
Yeah, and bad netcode will ruin a game.
This is why I like my combat, to give me a little bit of leeway. Like Yakuza and Dark Souls. I keep making lists of things I want to bring up when you finally get to play Bloodborne.
I'm gonna see if I can find out what that means.
Infested?
Yeah.
Yeah, David Byrne is a very strange guy. And that's why we love him. $85. We're almost there. Yeah, I think we managed to fill most of this time bullshitting about JoJo's.
Yeah, we did, actually. That was pretty good. I don't think I have any more JoJo in me, but...
Yeah, I think I'm also dry as well. But, you know, for off the cuff, that went pretty well. I'm happy with it. Once again, I highly recommend checking out Chip and Ironicus's Dogs Must Die Bizarre podcast if you haven't already. It's very detailed. They go episode by episode. They're also just
they do 2 to 3 episodes at a time.
Yeah, and like if you're familiar with their work, they're both very funny guys, have a great chemistry with each other.
I would also recommend Ty Tuesday's podcast. His anime podcast is really good. It started out as Legend of the Galactic Heroes, which was a book originally. So it's not like the flashiest anime. It's about it's like probably the best example of the war is hell, narrative actually sticking to it and really not glorifying it in the slightest. Mm-hmm. You follow both sides of the war. Neither are really more or less corrupt than the other. So one's an authoritarian monarchy. The other is a military forward democracy.
What's his... Oh, good.
What is what?
I was say, what is name of podcast?
Oh, Podcast of the Galactic Heroes.
Oh, that's the name. Okay.
They watched Cowboy Bebop one season.
Nice.
It's Ty Tuesday, Vicus, and his wife, and Kuvo. Who, Kuvo is dude who used to do Tipping 40s back in like college days.
Oh, okay. I am familiar with 3 of those people.
Yeah. They're doing Ghost in the Shell standalone complex right now, and that's a good show. That's a really good show. They've done good shows. They've done bad shows. They have a tradition where at the end of each season of watching a show, they have to watch a bad movie and talk about that. One time it was Grown Ups, Adam Sandler's Grown Ups.
I'm so sorry.
Yep, and then they watched Grown Ups too. And I was around for one of his viewings for that on Discord, and man, that movie was. I listened to the episode again recently. It was really funny, actually.
I am more forgiving than most of Adam Sandler. Not all the time, but he has some very shining moments. Movies. And yeah, those were not. I really, I have Uncut Gems. It's sitting on my shelf. I haven't watched it yet. I've heard nothing but amazing things.
Oh, really? You haven't seen it? That's actually something that I watched.
Oh, yeah? Is it as good as I hear?
It's pretty all right. I don't think it didn't blow my mind, but it definitely had an impactful ending. You can't deny that. You can't take that away from it. That's for sure. My mouth was open.
I like his more serious stuff. Punch Drunk Love, obviously. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. See, I didn't care for his character too much because he just reminded me of a guy from New York, which is exactly what he fucking was.
In Uncut Gems?
I think he did that job pretty well. But I thought it was pretty fun. It just didn't blow my mind like I thought, like I was expecting.
I just remember hearing everyone saying that, you know, Adam Sandler got snubbed not being given the fucking Best Actor Oscar nom. I was like,
I have no opinions about that. Does he want an Oscar?
No, God no. And it's nothing I ever thought, like, that's a situation I never thought I'd have ended up in. Fucking Adam Sandler at the Oscars. Or people considering it snubbed that he wasn't. Like, that's interesting.
Right.
But, like, Herbie or Hubie Halloween or whatever that fucking movie he came out with last year, that was cute as shit. I don't know if you saw that. It was on Netflix.
No, we're back into the realm of movies I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Which is all of them.
Which is every movie.
I just happen to have seen Uncut Gems. Well, like I was going around on Netflix for a little bit and watching some stuff.
Let's see, movies that Voice of Dog has seen.
I saw Fargo in the last year for the first time.
Oh yeah?
What'd you think? Was great.
Yeah, movie's fucking amazing. There is a television show that is better.
Right, I've heard. Oh no. Lines.
Oh no. Moon energy.
Oh no, moon energy.
Yeah, Fargo's fucking really solid. Fargo is my go-to Midwestern accent touchstone. Like whenever I need to like do a that kind of accent on stage, I always go to Fargo as like my warm-up.
Fargo or Puzzle Agent.
Or Puzzle Agent. It's like, oh, so you were having sex with the little... Yeah. Yes. It's like, oh, you were having sex with the little fella then.
Yeah.
He was kind of funny looking. And William H. Macy's great in that fucking movie. He's so goddamn unflappable.
Oh, like, was he the other guy? Not Steve Buscemi, but the other guy?
No, William H. Macy is the skinny prick who is trying to... He's the one who hires Steve Buscemi, the car salesman.
Oh, okay, yeah, the car salesman.
Lundergaard?
Yeah.
You're a goddamn thief, Mr. Lundergaard.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I remember his character just every time on the phone, and every time the detective comes in, just him freaking out. He was really good.
Just like, it's some really nice undercoating, that is. And there's just that one scene where he's like scraping the ice off of his car, and just breaks and smashes that fucking... I had a friend of mine in Ithaca who we grew up together. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
We went to high school together. We went to the same school together, and he had a car and I didn't. So we would fucking, I would, ride with him to and from every time we had to go home. And one day we had a terrible fucking snowstorm and he was trying to scrape off his fucking car, and the blade, like the scrapey tip, broke off of the thing. And he had that kind of moment where he just like flipped out and smacked it kind of limply until it, and then just stood there. And I was like, sorry about that. I'm like, no, that's great. You just reenacted a scene from Fargo and you don't even know it. Because he'd never seen the fucking movie. Yeah, no, solid fucking movie. Coen brothers are usually good for that shit.
The only thing that struck me as weird about that was that one little side plot.
Are you talking about the
with
lunch
the Asian guy?
Okay, so
yeah, what's the deal with that?
So I don't know what the Coen brothers deal with that is. I haven't actually seen. I think it's based off of a guy they actually knew. But
really?
The show, right? The show on FX. The way that the showrunner pitched that to the network was like, okay, we're going to do a show. It's loosely based on Fargo, different characters, but that's the general tone and setting we're going for.
Right.
Do you remember the scene where she meets the guy from high school for lunch and it's just really awkward and has nothing to do with anything else in the movie? We're going to try to do at least one of those a season. More if we can get away with it.
Just a scene that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, just like this really intense character scene that's totally disconnected from everything else. That is our design philosophy.
It's pretty good. Like it was an interesting scene, but I was like, what is this guy has nothing to do with the murder.
Nope. Nothing at all.
Or the kidnapping.
But she was in town. And when you're in town, you do things, you take... It's a very naturalistic thing to add in. That and the scene is just fucking hilarious. That character is copy-pasted into an episode of The Venture Brothers, by the way.
Okay.
Do you remember...
Yeah, I believe that.
There's an episode in the first season where they all go to a funeral and they get abducted, and it's all flashbacks to when everybody was in college together. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing is orchestrated by their nerdy computer science friend, this little Asian guy that they all hung out with who was obsessed with this one girl and blames them all for why they never got together.
Right.
Based off of that character from Fargo. He even has the Minnesota accent.
Oh my god.
It's a really good episode.
9-4. Can't wait to fight a giant slime.
Is that what's at the bottom, a giant slime?
Yeah, I spoiled it. No. I think I know what's down here. It's not a giant slime.
Is it? Oh fuck, what's his name? Bone claw, bone scale, bone face.
It's not.
From
9-5. The giant dungeon in Lufia 2 has just the biggest slime at the bottom of it.
The Lord of all slimes.
Yeah, but the funny part is, all right, he sticks around for 4 turns and then runs away, right? And then says, well, I guess we're not really fighting. Whatever, yeah, I'll see you next time, I guess. And disappears, leaving you to just warp out of the dungeon.
All that for nothing. Fuck.
Well, okay. Here's the trick. You have to kill yourself in 4 turns. 3 turns.
So you have to spend those turns killing your own party, not fighting the slime.
And the first thing he does is restore all your health. So you got to do it from full health. It's a really interesting fight.
Huh. So you've ostensibly had to, get yourself pretty strong in order to make it down there.
Yeah.
So there's no real way to sandbag yourself to make the fight easier.
Oh, sure there is. You can take off all your armor and leave your weapons on.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you wouldn't want to leave your weapon. You want to keep your weapons on so you can hit yourself harder, but...
Right.
Unless I'm misunderstanding how... I don't know. I've never played Lufia. I don't know how the combat works. I'm assuming just your basic turn-based yada yada.
Or the team.
That's something I miss in certain games. Final Fantasy VII Remake, you can't do that anymore. And there were a couple of times where I got, sleep or confused. And I'm like, God, I just want to smack myself in the head and get my turn back.
Nope.
But you can't.
9-7.
9-7. The stars are aligning. The cosmic ballet falls into place.
You better not lose this fight.
I swear to God, I'll be so fucking angry. I can't save either.
Yeah, you also better make sure you're at full health. Cat. Cat alert.
Cat alert.
Kill that cat.
Oh, you know what? You kill him. Molly Raccoon isn't much.
Oh God, it survived.
Okay, cat was merciful. I saw a video yesterday of a cat in a hamper, and a baby was poking at the cat, and the cat did not like it, so it smacked the baby in the face with his paws like 17 times a second.
Good job, cat. Show that kid who's boss.
I have to assume the cat was declawed because the baby's face didn't turn into a bloody rag.
You really shouldn't do that to cats, though.
No, it's awful. You don't do that. But, can cats, fuck you up and keep their claws in like that? Is that an option?
Yeah. Yeah, they have a setting between... Oh, God. They have a setting between off and on.
A setting between sleeping and murder.
Yeah. No, sometimes they just whack you with the... Sometimes they don't use the claws.
I saw that linked me to a bunch of videos of cats being assholes, and it was funny.
Yeah, they're good at that.
One of them, there was a cat at the foot of a bed, on the ground, and a dog sleeping on top of the bed. Cat's just, cleaning itself. And then for no reason stops, leans up onto the bed, and smacks the sleeping dog in the face 8 times. Just unprovoked. No reason. Just...
Good job, cat. You show that dog.
Felt like starting some shit. 9-8.
9-8.
9 Studios. I played Siphon Filter as a kid.
I never played that game.
It was good because it was one of the PlayStation games I had. Probably completely unmemorable in the modern day. But yeah, the kid didn't even recognize what had happened for a second.
Right, because it was that rapid punch.
And
cat attack.
Yeah, and apparently his fucking parents were just recording this whole thing happening and not didn't intervene in any way, which I find a little weird.
Good parents.
Good parents. But so they're recording him, and you see the cat hits him and then goes back into the hamper like it was doing. And the kid has time to stop and look at the camera and be confused before it starts crying. I don't understand children.
Nine.
All right, kids. We could roll a 3 and just get this going right now. We could roll a 2 and just get this going right.
Oh, wait.
1, 2, 3. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. It's a fight either way.
Well, the other one has a Okay, it's just down. It's right down the way.
Yeah, I want to avoid those spikes, though, so...
Yeah, don't hit the spikes now. That would be a bad time.
Meow. Are you going to hit me like a million times? Yes.
Meow.
I forget who it was. Who was it?
It might have been the younger.
No, yeah, I remember that. I think it might have been Shrike. It might have been you. I don't remember. It was a while ago, but somebody was like sending me fucking the Jojo yes gifts as we were watching that episode. No, I don't think it was you because we were watching it. It was like when we were watching it, and I just like tweeted something about it at the time, and then someone started sending me all those gifts. It was either, it might have been Shrike, it might have been Born in Shadow. I don't remember who off the top of my head. But it was a funny moment. Okay, this might be our last fight, so actually let's take a second and get everything groovy. Wasn't Shrike, okay. Oh, you stupid fucking... Oh, I'm a flower. Flowers aren't known for their offensive capabilities. Dickhead.
Okay.
Guess fucking Molly Raccoon can do some shit.
Well, we're oh god. We need to end this fight.
Yeah, this is getting silly.
Goodbye, raccoon. Regular raccoon.
Fucking go tell Rocky to go to hell. Oh, hold on.
No, it's not a link. It just interpreted your thing as a link.
Oh. Well, here. Either way. There's got to be a faster way to give someone permissions than typing all that out.
Nope. Not that I know of.
All right.
All right.
The time has come. Oh, I guess we got it. Never mind. Fuck you. The time hasn't come.
There's actually 200 floors. I lied.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, is that the boss?
That looks like.
Oh shit.
A special tile. That's definitely a unique tile.
Oh shit. We need keys.
I have keys.
We need more than.
I need more keys. I need additional keys. Well. I've got this key, right? So I can at least avoid that fucking... But I wanted to open the door.
Guess we gotta land on.
God. There, I got a key.
We got a key.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect.
Okay.
I wanted to open the door.
Oh man, we could be stuck here.
Ugh. Do enemies get taken off the tile after you fight them as well?
I think we need to nuke everything here. We can't afford to take damage.
What's the... I don't remember what the middle guy does.
I don't know.
Well, we can get rid of these two. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to heal up from that last debacle. This is why the points get... I'm not going to lose my points. I like my points. I have 100,000 points. I almost have 1,000,000 points. Oh, you mean from the squares. Oh, but the enemies don't get removed. Great. So you can just loop yourself into a fucking...
Yup.
Thank God I have Lunar Serene.
This is why we are nuking everything.
All right.
Come on, 3.
I'll take it.
Come on, not a 3.
One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, but I got a trap detector now, so.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need a 2.
Or a 1. Oh, or no, a 2 or a 3.
No, because 3 will put me on that empty space, I think.
No, it won't.
Won't the arrow push me and skip? Well, we'll see. Only one way to find out. Well, that ain't it.
Loop again. We're good on keys.
I'm good on keys, but I can't actually open the door unless I land directly on the square, which is kind of annoying. I never played Candyland. Don't give me a 1. Continue not giving me a 1.
Four or 5.
I just want to go up. Fortunately, the next... Oh, nope. That one also gives you a loop. God damn it. All right, get comfy, folks. We're at the mercy of RNG right now.
Yup. I'm getting another drink. I thought we were there.
So did I. All right, 3 or 4. There we go. I never played Candyland. Oh. Well, that was merciful. Oh, no, it wasn't. Son of bitch. I'm going to land on that spike. Well, at least I get to heal myself. Ooh, shit. Oh, fuckity bye. All right. Let's see. Helga... If Helga dies, we're boned, right? So Jimmy's got to kill Kitty. I think so, yeah. I think the spider just... What kind of spider is that? Oh, no. The spider will do an attack. Shit!
Oh, God. What's going on? What happened?
We landed on a couple of spikes, but it's fine.
Well. Just gonna spend that 5 MP for the hell of it.
Just to make sure it died. It didn't even die. Even with the hyperactivity. Yay.
Oh, we're in the inner circle. Okay,
Yeah.
now we just gotta land on that one. These fights are dangerous, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they are.
That raccoon has teeth.
Raccoons have teeth. Normal raccoons have teeth.
What? No. They're adorable.
One,
Actually, I
two,
don't really like them that much.
3 or 4. Okay.
We'll take it. Come on, 1.
Or 2.
4 is like a 2.
Yeah, it lands me on those fucking spikes again. Thank you, Key. 1, 2, 3 or 4. Come on. Oh, hey, you.
Oh boy.
Ugh, all right, we're gonna heal up while we're not all on the, exact brink of death, just in the vicinity of death. Death adjacent.
Jesus.
Cool, cool. Love it. Great.
Yeah, you do that.
Click away.
Well, if we get it, we get it.
Okay. 1 or 2. You can do it.
5 is a kind of 2.
At least it doesn't put me on those fucking spikes again.
What level will we be when we get there?
I don't fucking
That's
know.
my question.
We're going to have so much pumpkin. We're going to be just the Pumpkin King.
Oh yeah, you're stuck in that, I guess, huh?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, good. Fuck yeah.
Okay.
I would like to fight Morrissey, please. Oh no. It's Henry Wyatt. Oh shit, it is Henry Wyatt.
Oh, you're Jimmy.
Jimmy reminds himself that he's okay the way he is. God, I hope I set... What did I fucking set my Jimmy to? Hyperactivity and called shot. Okay, that's good. These could be better. But...
It's fine. We don't... Sticky Phlegm actually might be good.
Lower their agility. Yeah. Let's see if we can go ahead and just do that. Let's get an idea for how much damage this thing can soak up. This is it. Super duper final boss.
He's got some HP.
Yeah, this thing can take itself a hit. All right.
Oh shit.
That's fine.
Okay, yeah, you startled him.
Also, nobody did any physical attacks. No, no. No, my skin. Oh. Interesting.
You don't have hyperactivity, or do you do have hyperactivity?
I do. I made sure that's a star technique. It's going to do slightly less damage because vampires aren't necessarily geared for speed, but... Let's see, you're going to need more sody pop. Damn. That 9,000 did not move the bar as much as I would have wanted it to. Yeah, we are going to be here a minute. Oh yeah, no, I am not.
Also, those crits on thermal beam are huge.
Yeah, I am not afraid that we're gonna lose this fight. It's just not gonna be a fucking complete pushover, which I'm just not used to anymore. Like, I thought this is the game where I look at things and they die. What's going on? I'm having to put forward like a slight amount of effort. Also, yeah, those crits are pretty good. What do we got? Pumpkin Ghost.
Uh-oh.
Look at Hitomi hanging on by a fucking thread. Let's just chill. You just take a minute. Well, wasted that startle, but at least nobody died.
Yeah, that's fine.
You wouldn't do a reflect 2 turns in a row, would you?
Probably not.
You know what? I'm just going to assume you're going to do something that I'm going to need to heal, so I'm going to just have that in the can. You son of a bitch. You're not allowed to heal. I'm the only one who's allowed to heal.
It's fine.
You
that
don't
was
push
way
the
less
button.
than I was expecting.
True. You don't push the button. I push the button. That's ungood. That's just going to drop our damage output for a couple of turns. I don't know why I did that. Well, at least I wasted one of the fucking shitty turns. Oh, you know what? You can refocus. Yeah. Oh, good.
Blob.
Mush really has the advantage. Ooh. The rampage is the thing. Maybe I'll just have you undulate for a minute. We're doing pretty good on damage output, and he's almost dead. No reason to get greedy. Yeah. Yeah. Because of that.
I think that's game. Nope, magic pixel.
And we end on a magic pixel. How beautiful. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Okay, die, you fucking prick.
Good job. You did it.
I did it. I killed the dark demon. What do I get?
40,000 experience.
Hooray! 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 Okay, I get it. Everyone leveled up. Toy box? It's a robotic super Jimmy! And I never got the Holy Grail.
Nope.
I gotta see what the robotic super Jimmy is. Works to complete any non-hidden set. Unfortunately, I was trying to finish a hidden set.
You did it.
I did it! Now do it again and he's harder. What? Really?
I believe it.
I'm not. I did it once. I did my time.